Welcome to The Lock Shop with Nielsen and Hustler, powered by Coolbet Canada.
What is up, Lock Shoppers? Welcome to the program. Haz and JP am with you today. Dusty doing a little bit of double duty on the CFL in transit today from, I guess, BC to Cowtown. Wild game last night. I know that there's not a lot of consolation for Edmonton sports fans in the Elks loss last night, but as I said with I Want It yesterday, good teams win, great teams cover, and the Elks did it again, although that is a heartbreaking way to lose a football game. We've got a lot going on. We're going to get going for about the next 40, 45, and then turn it over to Maddie Iwanek, who will have the key word for you as well. But we're going to dive into, we got to talk about the NHL awards last night for a minute, but we've got UFC 303 right here in Vegas. Tomorrow night, an incredible card. Not usually my area of expertise, but this is a big one, so we'll dive into a couple of the fights. We, of course, have the NHL Draft. We'll check on the latest odds heading into tonight's festivities just down the street from me at the Sphere. And round of 16 in Euro begins tomorrow. And a massive game for Canada's men's national team in the Copa tomorrow, which we'll get to as well. Jake Bolin Moss of Coolbet. Of course, we are presented by Coolbet, folks. If you haven't played there before, please give them a try and use the promo code LOCKSHOP when you do. They'll hook you up with a 100% bonus on your first deposit up to $200. Jake, what's going on?
Not much, Huss. It just feels like it's never ending, with the sports world. Like we finished the NBA Finals, we finished the Stanley Cup Finals, right into the NBA Draft, NHL Draft. We have the Copa, the Euro. We got golf going on. It really never ends. The Wimbledon rankings were announced yesterday. Like just when you think you can take a little rest, take a deep breath, no. We're right back into some more action. And honestly, I love it, but I can see how it could get overwhelming.
This is a great time, and I got to tell you, we are part-time soccer guys, I guess, as World Cup veterans, but also, diving into, the hockey and football and all that. But this is a month where you really do get into it. And the addition of the Euro, which is always such an incredible tournament, with the expanded Copa, with Canada being in it, I think, these next couple weeks, now that we're getting down to, in the Euro, the group stage, the knockout stage, finishing up the group stage, certainly a lot of fun and a heck of a lot of great action on television as well. So we'll hit on that. And yeah, you're exactly right. We're kind of locking in a little bit more on Major League Baseball now. That's sort of the old dog days of summer, spending some time.
Jays are back.
Hitting that. Are they? What? Just quickly on the Jays, I have to ask you this. I saw yesterday that Atkins said there's still a possibility that they re-sign both Vlad and Bo. And then an hour later, Bo said, I wouldn't be surprised if I get traded. You had that miserable week last week with the back-to-back sweeps. They were right there and now have fallen back a little bit. I mean, where do you see this going right now? And what does it mean for the team in the short term right now as they just try and scratch and claw to get back to close to 500 and give them a chance?
Yeah, I don't know, Huss. It's a tough spot to be right now because, the farm system isn't that great. And then you got your best prospect that comes up and immediately gets hit with an 80-game ban. So that hurt a lot.
That was unbelievable.
So I don't know. I think the pitching's still fantastic. Obviously, like it was last year even, I don't know, maybe not necessarily the year before, but especially last year, just struggling to score runs. The last few games have been good. Springer hit 2 3-run shots yesterday, and they were monster bombs. All of a sudden, Springer's swings changed up a bit, and he made contact yesterday. I texted my dad. His first inning, he had a 3-run shot. They were up 5-0 right off the bat, and I'm like, oh my god! I'm like, Springer learned how to swing again. Like he just hit a bomb, and the next at bat, he texted me. He goes, wow, because Springer hit another one off a 96-mile-per-hour fastball to deep center, and I was just like, where has this been all season? Like, why does it take 80 games or wherever even further in the season to get to this point? So it's a little frustrating, because we're going to get to the All-Star game. they're probably going to be lingering right around the 500 marker again, especially if they can win a few series here as we close in on that. And we're not really going to know what the best option is. If you're going to be sellers, you need to be all-out sellers. Or if you're going to be buyers, then you got to go all in. Like, you can't be on the fence. Maybe we'll sign these guys. Maybe we won't. If you're going to sell, if you're going to get rid of Bichette, Guerrero, those young pieces to build up the farm system and get a little better for the future, then you need to go all in. You can't be half in, half out like it feels like they've been in the last couple of years here.
Yeah. The only thing I'll say about the Jays is, like, with these huge decisions is that they sort of have to happen over the course of the next month or so. And if they do go into a full sell mode, are the guys that making those decisions back next year to be the guys running the team? It's a real catch-22 right now for the club, in that, you may have guys making decisions knowing that they're screwed. It could be out of work going forward, and it certainly is not enviable. The best case scenario would be for this team to start hitting again, like we saw last night. And listen, I mean, doing this every day, we'll have great picks, we'll have terrible takes. The take that I see every single time I go into my futures and open bets is my Jays pick. And I just remember on this show saying, listen, I totally believe in this pitching, and there's no way this team can be as anemic offensively as they've been because of all the talent, and they've been worse. Yeah. So maybe, just maybe, last night was a bit, because I don't think there's any doubt. I mean, George Springer, Schneider's not taking him out of the lineup. So when he's hitting 180, it's going to kill a team, and he's a pin to turn it around.
You can't pay a guy that much money and take him out of the lineup consistently. Like, you're damned if you do, damned if you don't. So he's got to play, and he's got to find his game. Hopefully, it's a turnaround point for him. Like, and you're not expecting him to hit nukes every game, but getting on base is important. Getting just singles, doubles, like, everything is important. Building up that average, and then the power, just hopefully that comes with it. So we'll see what happens. Like I said, like, they could, if they go on a little run here, which is possible. I mean, they beat the Red Sox. They got rained out the following day, came home, crushed the Yankees yesterday. If they win the series against the Yankees, I think it's an extended one of probably I don't know how it works with the long weekend. Probably a 4-gamer, I imagine, with them playing last night. So yeah, if they can win this series, 3-1 against the Yankees, it's promising. But I don't know if it's based on their track record, I don't know if it's a exciting time yet in Blue Jays land. Yeah,
well, here it is, though. I mean, once you get on the other side of Canada, it's all about baseball, certainly in the GTA. And tell you what, waking up right now would be a great time to do exactly that. Jays and Yankees tonight. You know what we're talking about? Let's just quickly check the line in this one tonight. Who do we got for you give us the line. I've got the app open here. I'll Stroman versus Kikuchi. What a juicy matchup for a Friday night.
That'd be fun.
What's the line on this one?
Basically a pick 'em. Yankees minus 108, Blue Jays minus 110. So basically a pick 'em. Pick a side.
Well, you know where I'm at. I mean, let's ride with Kikuchi, who 4-7, a 4 ERA. The Stroh show actually has been pretty good, 7-3, 3.15. I'll say this: the Yankees are due for a little bit of a slump too. They've actually had a great season. They got massacred by the Mets a couple nights ago. Then followed that up, getting worked by the Blue Jays. Maybe.
Yeah, last thing on the baseball. Apparently, the Yankees got in at 4 a.m. Yesterday before the game because they got rain. They got rain delayed, and then they had to come back. They got crushed 12-2, and then rolled into Toronto at 4 a.m. So I'm sure that was a fun one after getting crushed by the Mets.
Well, they probably were low-key yesterday during the day, a little groggy during the game, and then, hopefully they had a good chance to go out and rage in Toronto, a great place to do during the summer. And we'll see what happens tonight. So, yeah, Kikuchi and Stroman, basically a pick 'em. See if the Jays can keep things happen. By the way, shout out to everybody in chat. I'm sure Big Maple's there, firing off
he's there.
I have a tough time. I'm kind of doing this off of today. So, Jake, if there's anything good in the chat that you want to get to,
Let me get.
sort of
Since
interject.
we're on the chat, let's get to Penner's Pancakes. He had a question. Let's start the Stamkos to Leafs rumors. And Moss, are the Leafs really preparing to offer for Marner? Is this a sign and trade? I mean, the Marner rumors are obviously the biggest talk in Leafland right now, outside of some other things. I've seen both sides where Marner wants to stay and the Leafs want to keep him, to there's a deal, being prepared as of right now that Marner will be out of town. So there's a lot that needs to go into it. Marner needs to be willing to waive his no move. He's a full no move. So it's going to be completely up to him whether he's okay with a deal in place or not. I don't know. I don't really know. I'm not as angry as I was about it at the end of the season, obviously with how the playoffs finished and how he played in the playoffs and how he's played in the last few playoff runs. I don't think it hurts you to keep Marner for another season. And, at worst, he comes off the books at the end of the year and you get an extra $11 million on top of the $11 million that Tavares is making. That's a lot of cap space coming off at the end of next year. So people are like, why are we going to run it back one more year? Well, listen, you signed Nylander to an extension, you signed Matthews to an extension, and you open up $22 million of cap space. That can make for some big changes the following season. But we'll see. I don't know. It's interesting. A lot of people think he is going to be on the move, and this would be the week where it happens with the draft. I'm a little skeptical. I think there's a good chance he might be here for one more season at least.
Well, I do too. I mean, I think their hands are tied. Trust me, if there was no move, I think he could already be in another jersey. But I mean, they not only have to get a deal that they feel good about, that they feel makes them better for next season, but they've also got him. They've got to have Mitch Marner agree to it. And he doesn't seem like the sort of guy that would feel that comfortable showing up in a new market with new expectations, playing in a contract year. Now, I mean, listen, if his agents and, his representation was able to meet with the team that he's going to and work out some sort of mega extension that makes him, amongst the top players in the league, that kicks in the following season, and he knows he's set for life. Not that he already isn't, considering the way he bent the Leafs over the last time when they went through all this. Maybe that happens, but from all accounts, he doesn't really want to leave. Mm-hmm. And I think he kind of probably still feels that, as any pro should be, I mean, that they're close, that they believe in themselves, believes in himself. Maybe he can go back, have a great year, have different results at the end. He's in a great position for a long-term extension with the Leafs to stay there for big money. I don't see it. And the other thing, to your point, this is not the Winnipeg Jets or the Ottawa Senators losing a big money player and having nothing to return. I mean, when the Jets, some of these smaller market teams, you realize their situation dictates that if you're losing a guy like a Nikolai Ehlers, for instance, very important to the Jets. Will he re-sign? Does he want to re-sign considering the way he's been played? I mean, all that's up in the air. For a team like Winnipeg, if they know that that's probably the way things are going, you sort of have to get ahead of it and act quickly. For the Leafs, I mean, $11 million in salary cap space for Toronto is massive. I mean, they are always a big player in free agency, and their biggest limitations, is how much cash they have. So I don't think it would be the end of the world if Marner came and played it out, although it does seem like it's sort of just putting off the inevitable that they will go a different way. The one thing, Jake, just on the Leafs, not that everyone wants to talk about it, but they do want to make a big splash when it comes to the blue line. And we'll see whether Chris Tanev is available, whether he actually hits the market out of Dallas. We know there's big interest in Toronto for him and a guy like Brandon Montour. But if you're going to pony up for a Montour, for instance, it sure would be nice to have some of that cap space vacated if you can get Marner off the books and sort of change the look and the makeup of your hockey team for this season, never mind the years going forward.
Yeah, sorry I cut out there for a couple seconds, but I'm back, and then I lost you in sound. But yeah, it's an interesting offseason because I I brought it up to some of my buddies yesterday. You know, every rumor, name a free agent, the Leafs are in on them. You know, that's the way Leafs fans see it, at least, and obviously the media kind of feeds into that as well. But like, we got guys on Toronto radio saying Chris Tanev is basically a Leaf, you know, at this point, and then people are saying, you know, Bertuzzi's probably not resigning. Well, then there's a rumor that comes out last night. Apparently, Bertuzzi is still willing to sign with Toronto, and it's just, you know, I don't know what to believe. I'm not going to believe anything truly until something actually happens in terms of signing a free agent or a trade or whatever that entails. So, you know, I would just say to the folks, whether it's your team or any other team, like, don't believe anything until it's actually been done and it's set in stone and it's written into paper, because there's so much. I don't know how it is with the other markets, but like the noise right now here, Huss, is absolutely insane. And a lot of it is fed by the fans, who are crazy people, including myself.
Listen, as far as hockey goes, the big show tonight is just down the street at the Sphere. I think it's going to be visually stunning. It should be the coolest looking draft that they've ever had, for sure. And it's sort of wide open. I mean, it's Macklin, Celebrini, and then everybody else. Here's the update on the hug prop, which I absolutely love. First person, the number 1 overall pick, hugs at the NHL draft. Mom is down to even money.
Mm-hmm.
Father is plus 150. And then you've got sibling at 4-1, partner at 12-1. I made the case yesterday that there was some value for father. I get why mother is the favorite right now. But earlier this week, it was plus 110 and plus 120. It's definitely leaned towards mother, and now you've got a better number on the dad right now at plus 150 if it's there. You know, I've been spending, you know, quite a bit of time this morning kind of getting the latest on draft predictions and whatnot. Really interesting, and listening to Elliot Friedman, who's very, very tied in, and he very rarely goes on the record without having a pretty good idea about what he's talking about. Here's one for you folks. Elliot has the Anaheim Ducks, who are the 3rd overall pick, taking Denver defenseman Zeev Boyum. And you can get Zeev Boyum right now, the 3rd overall pick, at plus 275. That number has flopped. I believe yesterday, Bennett Seneke was like plus 300 and was second in that. But the Siliev number has gone up to plus 175. But Zeev Boyum, really interesting prospect, had a great year at Denver. Hearing a lot of steam. And I believe his like parents are Israeli or something like that. I think he's like a Southern California kid who played like in the Ducks junior program. I mean, you know, the stories write themselves. So take that for what it's worth. I'm not breaking down the player or anything. Just there's a lot of people that have connected Boyum to the Ducks at number 3. And he right now, Jake, is number 2 as far as the odds for that 3rd overall pick. Levshinov is still even a bigger favorite now to be the 2nd overall pick. He's the Russian defenseman playing at Michigan State. Minus 400 for the Hawks to take him. Certainly that's kind of what Elliot said. On today's 32, they talked that, you know, in their mind, the draft really sort of starts at 4. And again, if that's the case, betting Zeev Boyum at plus 275, probably a pretty good idea. We'll see what happens. The other guy that's really intriguing, and this is more from a Winnipeg perspective, I heard some rumblings that both the Jets and some other teams are really high on TJ Iginla, Jerome Iginla's kid. And, you know, I've seen mocks that have him in and around, 10, which is very interesting because that would mean that the Calgary Flames would pass on him at 9. I think for Calgary's sake, it might be great if he's gotten before they pick, if they're not looking at him. Because, man, it would be hard to overlook or pass on Jerome Iginla's son, considering the Hall of Famer is Mr. Calgary Flame.
You know, it'd be like picking LeBron James' son if you're the LA Lakers, eh, Huss?
How funny was that? And now I realized, you know, I saw Dusty's play of the day earlier this week going into the draft. And he did a pick on Bronny James going over under 54.5. And he thought that, someone was going to take, a flyer on him in the second round. Well, the team that did was the Lakers at 55. And now we know why that line was 54.5, because I don't think anyone thought that he'd get past 55. The only question was whether someone would pick him before LA did.
Well, the rumors hadn't come out yet, and I think our draft numbers were only up for day one, so nothing came back online yesterday. But apparently Rich Paul, who's the agent of LeBron James, probably the agent for Bronny James as well, was calling teams saying, do not pick Bronny James because he will not play he will go to Australia if you pick him. So basically it was just holding everyone hostage until we got to the Lakers pick at 55, and they were in the driver's seat to take him. LeBron James is basically running the Lakers. He's got his podcast buddy as his coach and his son playing on the team. So listen, they're not going to win a championship. I'm pretty content to say that. I think LeBron's championship runs are over, but getting to play with his son is, it's an exciting time for him. I'm not going to take that away from LeBron. I've never been a LeBron guy. I know Dusty is, and we go back and forth all the time on it. But getting to play with his son, that was the important thing to him. They're going to get at least a year of doing that. So I'm sure it'll be fun. They'll have some great highlights, some great moments, and, we can all enjoy that time. I think the Lakers championship runs, though, aren't necessarily coming in the next couple of years.
It'll make for a great Hallmark movie. I'm not sure that makes for a great season, a situation for the Lakers, but you're right. Listen, it's LeBron's show, even though he has yet to sign his deal, which is hilarious. But apparently the Lakers have put like 160 on the table for 3 years. And listen, I think if he has some assurances that Bronny will be around for those years, I think he'd love to be there, informative, and helping him hopefully make it as a legit NBAer and not just a Nepo baby playing in the league. Listen, I want to get to the soccer and the UFC in a second, but we've got the key word for the $100,000 hole-in-one presented by Golf Town. Gang, today's word is range. Go hit the range. Probably we could all use to hit the range a little bit more. Text in range to 780-218-9999 for a chance to get into the mix. The 25th and final contestant will be picked on Monday for a possible chance to swing at the dough. Again, if someone sinks it, the show is over. So if the 12th person gets a hole-in-one, everyone is done swinging for the money. There's 3 more qualifying opportunities, with one on the oil stream today, one on Hello Hockey tomorrow, and the final one on Sunday before EST picks the final contestant Tuesday morning. That would be on the Nielsen show. Of course, Monday, long weekend. You got to love it. Planning for to celebrate the nation wherever you are. WST, EST back with normal programming on Tuesday. And of course, we'll have lots to talk about because of NHL free agency. What do you got going on for the long weekend? You sticking around town? You're going out to Lake Country? What's up in the 6 for the long weekend, Jake?
Yeah, I've actually moved a little north already. I'm in Markham right now, just north of Toronto at my girlfriend's place. And we're headed up to her parents' trailer in Bob Cajun for a couple nights. So there's a little potluck there tonight. We'll spend another day there tomorrow, and then we might head back to the city a day early and catch up with a few of my friends, maybe watch some of the Euro, some of the Copa, whatever's on, maybe the Blue Jays, depending on how this series pans out. And we'll enjoy that extra day of relaxation and that extra day off for Canada Day on Monday.
Yeah, we're going to get back late on Sunday night, and then we got a big party going down at Princess Auto Stadium on Monday for Canada Day. We got Sam Roberts band playing. It's going to be a real good time. So, but again, who knows? I mean, if our teams do something big in free agency, we might be firing up the old YouTube as well. But we will see. Anyways, you mentioned the Copa and the Euro. Before we get to the Euro, let's hit these Copa odds and get the latest on Canada. Canada's in a really good situation after their win against Peru. Peru's taking on Argentina. Argentina's still a massive favorite, but Messi is not playing. Argentina's got their 2 wins. They're set. So this could be a bit of a Argentine B team, I think even the B team, it would be highly unlikely, frankly shocking, I think, if Peru were to beat the Argentines, which means that in all likelihood, not 100%, Canada can take care of business and move on to the group stage with just a draw against the Chileans. Chile right now is a favorite to win this game, plus 118. Canada's plus 285 to win. I was envisioning this scenario before we left and did get on a Canada-Chile draw. And again, in this situation, a draw would be like a win, Jake. But if you do want to back Canada, there actually is the double chance that people might want to consider essentially betting against a loss for Canada.
Yeah, a ton of options. I mean, we do have the goal. Excuse me. We do have the Goalapalooza still running. If you don't know what that is, it's you pay Canada to win their match in the home draw away, which is plus 285 right now. You put $25 on that, and for every goal scored in the match, you get a $5 bonus back. Plus, if Canada goes on to win the game, you're getting that profit as well. So that would have been a good one. I think you got on that, Huss, for the Peru game.
I did. I had that for the Peru game. So we got the win.
Great profit plus the extra $5 on the goal.
And then an extra fin. So, yeah, I mean, it ends up significantly jacking up that, another 20% basically of what we did.
Right. So that's still an option. But I think the option when we're looking at just punching their ticket, minus 140 right now on the Canada or draw double chance. I'm also going to put this together as an exclusive. It'll probably be up tonight or tomorrow morning. Argentina to win, Canada to win or draw. I think it's plus 159 right now at Coolbet. So we'll probably get that juiced up to like a plus 175 number. We're just going to call it ticket punching. That's going to punch their ticket to the next round. I know, like you said, Messi's not playing. He's an impact on the game. He hasn't scored, I don't think, yet in the Copa, which isn't the end of the world for Argentina. They're a talented club. Even their B team, I think, will take care of business.
Because of our goalie, Crepeau, was so damn awesome in that game.
He's incredible.
He was everywhere in that game. And I know we lost 2-0, but he held the Canadians in, and they got that goal in the 88th minute, which really sort of iced it. But I'm not going to say Messi was frustrated, but he had some great chances, and the Canadian keeper stepped up big. He'll need another big performance coming up on tomorrow and when they get back at it.
Yeah, so I think that's the way we go with it. A Canada winner draw minus 140. It's a little bit juicy, but I think it's worth the juice. We can assume, let's hope Argentina can take care of their side, win or draw. Both games will be played at the same time. That's what I love about these tournaments, is the group play on the final day of group play, they play at the same time. So you don't have to worry about what happened in the game before, what's going to happen in the game later. They're happening at the exact same time. And it was the same thing for the Euro. It's going to happen for the Copa starting tomorrow. So exciting time for Canadian soccer. And Huss, I'll let you know right now, if we do move on, if Canada does move on to the next round, we're going to extend the Goalapalooza. I think Matty Iwanek was saying yesterday they'd play either Venezuela or Mexico. He said someone along those lines. So could be another opportunity for them to even go further with a win there in the I guess it would be the quarterfinals or the round of 16, whatever they play in Copa.
Yeah, the round of 16. And we had talked about this on the Lock Shop before. I was sort of high on Canada's chances to do that. There were props for Canada, and if you got on this one with me, it was plus 400 for Canada to be eliminated in the round of 16, basically meaning move through the group stage and then lose in the first round. What's awesome about this is that if we get into that situation where Canada can advance, you've got plus 400. If they lose in that match, they'll probably be pretty big underdogs against whoever they're playing. You can put a little on the other side for Canada to win that match at maybe plus 300 or something like that. Either way, it'll be good news for the account, and you still will be able to really cheer for Canada in the game as opposed to thinking that they move out. Let's move over to the Euro because we've got the round of 16 set up. These are all knockout matches. Switzerland taking on Italy in the first matchups. The Swiss are good. Italy expected to be better. Now, this is interesting, Jake, and we should make a point of checking this out because just clicking on it, the Swiss plus 260, a draws plus 190, Italy's plus 150. That's the home draw and away. We can do essentially the money line bet,
Yep.
which is just to qualify. Let me ask you this. And I don't know. What's the difference between, I guess draw no bet is in regulation and the draw is a push, whereas to qualify, it includes penalties. It's just whoever actually advances from that game.
You got it exactly right, Huss. So draw no bet would be if the match goes to extra time, you're just getting a push. So say you were on, Italy at minus 171, draw no bet. If they go into, overtime or if they go into extra time, then you're getting your money back on that one. But to qualify is the number you're talking about. So to move on past this game is to qualify. Switzerland plus 120 and Italy minus 143 in that game. So the one thing I will say about the Euro is, check your sides of the bracket here, because there is one stacked side of the bracket. And I think Wani talked about this yesterday with France. I think France, Germany, Portugal. There's a few other big dogs on that one side of the bracket. And the other side, England's kind of on an island on their own. I know they're not the team necessarily that people believe to win the big one. They haven't won a big one since 1966. But if you go to the Euro futures, I think you can get England to reach the final at plus money. Plus 160 right now for England to reach the final. They have a much easier side of the bracket if you take a look compared to kind of the rest of the teams there, Spain, Germany, France, and others.
Yeah, the other team that was not particularly good in the opening group stage, but squeaked through is a third place team that finds themselves on that side of the draw that's actually seen their total come down based on where they are in the draw, not on what they did, is the Dutch. The Netherlands is now 12-1. I'll just give you a quick rundown of these Euro odds. Outrights to win the tournament. England is favored at plus 370. Spain is plus 430. Germany plus 570. France 6-1. Portugal 7-1. The Netherlands 12-1. Italy 16. Austria 18. The Swiss and the Belgians 40-1. And then the real long shots: Turkey 80, Denmark 110, Romania 150, Slovaks 200, Georgia 250, and Slovenia plus 400. That Georgia win the other day over Portugal was stunning. A joke that the SEC is just taking over everywhere. I was
going to say, my girlfriend's half Portuguese, so I was getting into her a little bit. I was like, Portugal, bit of trouble. The thing is, that's the thing with the Euro, Huss. Not a lot of the teams have looked that good. I'd say Spain probably has looked the best, or Germany as well, maybe. But England, as the favorite, they have not looked that great. And obviously things can change. France has not looked that great. Portugal had the loss to Georgia. So you talked about the Netherlands already. So, I think we're still looking at an anyone's tournament here, especially in the top tier there. If you go from England down to Italy there, I think any of those 7 teams could win this tournament. But we'll have to see, how everything pans out. Like I said, there's going to be some tough matchups on that one side of the bracket, and only one team is going to come out on top out of there to reach the final.
Yeah, quick rundown of these weekend games, and then we'll touch on the UFC quick before we run. So as I mentioned, Italy favored against the Swiss. Germany versus Denmark. Germany is a big favorite when it comes to soccer. On the three-way, minus 147. A 90-minute draw plus 275. The Danes plus 530. England taking on Slovakia. England's a massive favorite, minus 222. Slovakia 9-1 and a draw plus 320. Spain versus Georgia. Spain's got to be the biggest favorite. Holy smokes. Minus 455. Draws plus 595 and Georgia 16-1. They continue that magic from their third round matchup against Portugal. And then, Matt, this is sort of what we were getting at, when you get into this next quarter. France and Belgium. France is minus 104. The Belgians are 4-1. A draw is 220. The winner of that, I believe, will play Portugal, who's expected to beat the Slovenians.
Mm-hmm.
Portugal is minus 244, draw plus 370, and Slovenia plus 855. Those games are on Canada Day. And then coming out of the weekend on Tuesday, Romania and the Netherlands. Romania is 7-1, a draw plus 360. The Netherlands a big minus 213 favorite. And then Austria and Turkey. Austria minus 110, Turkey plus 360, and the draw plus 245. I always like when we get to this point just before starting the quarters is to, identify 3-4 teams over the course of the 4 days and put together a little parlay and ride with it, maybe one a day for them.
Yeah, no, I like that too. I think we should bring back the old Doha double us. Just a little, and with the 2 games each day, you just double down, me and you. Have a pick for each game, and we can probably get a couple good numbers on that. Just run that back, and for anyone who remembers the old Qatar Doha double that we had going.
Wasn't that fun? Oh my God, the memories are so great. Yeah, and I'm just looking. I mean, obviously, so tomorrow is Swiss and Italy. I mean, Italy. I actually think we might see a draw in that Swiss Italy. Like the Italy never blows anybody out. You want to throw down a Swiss Italy draw and Germany at minus 147 on the 3-way?
Yeah, we can do that for sure.
Let's do it.
Lock shop section.
It's now a Euro double as opposed to the Doha double, but we'll throw that in. I'm sure the guys will get us a little bit of a boost, but a 90-minute draw between the Swiss and Italians and Germany to win in regulation or in the 90 minutes, minus 147 and minus 190. Guys will take care of a bit of a boost on that. All right, listen, just before we go, we've got UFC 303. I can tell you that there is plenty of excitement here in Vegas for that. In addition, I mean, we've sort of been in hockey circles, but you cannot avoid it. The main event, well, that Stevens just mentioned, we got given bad directions yesterday when we got to the Fontainebleau for the NHL awards. And they said, yeah, go up to the 4th floor and you'll see the registration for your media credentials. So we walked the entire 4th floor and realized that we were in the belly of the beast for the production level for the big Power Slap event tonight. Power Slap is the thing here. I don't believe Coolbet is betting, is it? I mean, I can't even watch it, to be honest with you.
It makes me a little queasy, Huss. It makes me a little queasy.
I mean, no defense, just letting people tee off. It's insane. But listen, the Saturday card, though, is absolutely stacked. Listen, the makeup main event without McGregor is a beauty. Light heavyweight championship, Alex Pereira versus Yuri Prochazka. This is a rematch between the two. Pereira is minus 141. Prochazka plus 121. I always make at least one UFC bet every week at Coolbet because you bet $25. If you win, great, you win. No matter what, you got a free $25 bet on Monday. So this is a great card to do that, even if you don't regularly get in. I think there's value on Prochazka. That's where I went. And, I was talking to Zach. A lot of these fights, I'm not entirely familiar with everyone, but I saw a great breakdown of the Ian Gary, Michael Venom Page, MVP. Page is plus 142. Ian Gary minus 167. I think this is a real toss-up between two guys. So if you're looking for a little plus money, I'm sure Big Maple will fire out his picks. He's kind of all over it. But I'm on Prochazka in the main event at plus 121. And I think I'll throw a little sprinkle just based on the number, plus 142, on Michael Venom Page against Ian Gary. But watching the setup or the build-up for that, certainly the fight that I'm actually really looking forward to seeing. And I believe that's the first fight on the pay-per-view part of UFC 303. I don't know. You followed the UFC very closely, Jake, or not so much?
I'll jump on some of the main events and watch, but I don't follow it very closely at all. I will say, though, Big Maple, I always see him tagging us on Twitter. So he's got his picks there. We also have a guy that works for us, Gordo Gambles. He usually will post, we'll post his video of his favorite bet, usually day of the event. So keep your eyes out. I'm not sure if he's sending that today or not, but I'd say more than likely he'll have one on our socials. And then, like you said, us bet and get $25 on any UFC event, and you're getting that money back, win or lose. So it's a great way to get involved in the UFC if you haven't. And on a weekend like this, during a main event, is the best time to do it. You might not be a weekly UFC bettor, but main events are the most fun time to get some friends together. You buy the pay-per-view and you lock a few bets in and tune in.
Yeah, and listen, I mean, for the people that are real UFC hardos, I mean, this card is absolutely stacked. Might be a good spot to hit a BP or Shark Club on Saturday night if you're around and watch it, because the people that are really into it will be all over this card. And there's always fun when you get the big fight feel. And we certainly have that despite not having Conor McGregor. And again, when it comes to Coolbet, it's no risk. Bet 25 on whatever the bet you want. Cheer for your guy, knowing that if you lose, you got that 25 on Monday to fire on a soccer game or the Blue Jays or whatever that may be. All right, well, listen, great stuff. We got a big WST live from Vegas presented by our friends at Coolbet coming up in less than 15 minutes here in Vegas. So if you want to hang with us, head over to the Winnipeg Sports Talk channel in about 15 for that. Matty Owanek's going to take you up to the top of the hour. And again, shout out to the Elks. Got it done last night for me. A nice start to the week. I really wanted them to win that game. But I guess considering I'm a Bomber guy,
not the worst place to be. Listen, Huss, speaking of the Bombers, the Bombers could pick one up. We get the For the Community exclusive. Elks cashed the 7.5 last night. I know a handful of people got on that one. So if the Bombers can just pull through and win one, we'll cash that one. I think it'll be the first time this season for the community cash.
Well, let's face. I mean, listen, the Elks have been covering machines, just not winning machines, and the Bombers have been the exact opposite. The Bombers are 0 for across the board because they've been such heavy favorites. I'm still surprised. I was just looking at their depth chart. I don't even know the names of the guys that are starting at wide receiver. They got Dembski and Wolodarski in the slot. I look at the Brady Oliveira props for that game when they're available tomorrow, because I think the Bombers are going to try to run the football, and I wouldn't mind the under as well in that game. Considering what's looking at what they're looking at with the loss of Dalton Schoen probably for the season right now, and Kenny Lawler on the 6th game. Tough start for the 4-time defending Western Division champs. Jake, listen, have a great long weekend, and we'll stay in touch on the group chat. Let's go, Akshay. Patty's in Iceland, texting us in the middle of the night about Akshay. He was 8 under yesterday. Great start. We're on him at 20-1, so we'll hope that get another winner on the golf course. But anyways, for Jake Bolin Moss, I'm Huss. We're going to send it back to EST headquarters and Matty Owanek to take you up to the top of the hour. Have a great long weekend, everybody. Enjoy the NFL and NHL draft tonight, UFC, the soccer, and we will be back with the Lock Shop to wrap it all for a big 3 days off coming up on Tuesday right here on Edmonton Sports Talk. Have a good one, gang.
Thank you, boys, for that. Huss, enjoy the draft tonight. And I don't know if the city wants to hear you praising that the Elks, they got the cover, because they're just mad that this team is 0-4 here in the city of Edmonton. It's gonna be an interesting bye week coming up here for the Edmonton Elks. I don't think they'd make any sort of changes, but that game against Ottawa on July 14th, it's a must-win. There's no question about that. If you can't beat the Ottawa Red Blacks and you drop to 0-5, what are we doing here when it comes to the Edmonton Elks? It's going to be a fun game between the Bombers and the Stampeders tonight. I'm still just so surprised that I'm seeing so many people taking the Stamps in this one. I mean, maybe I just can't believe in that Stampeders team. And Huss was talking there about all the injuries to the receiving core and a few others, and it's still the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, though. Like they can't drop to 0-4. We will see. That's the Canadian Football League. It's so much fun to watch. This is the Lock Shop. Matt Iwanek here on EdmontonSportsTalk.com. Tune in iHeartRadio as well as those watching on YouTube. We're 10 minutes away from the oil stream. Myself and Tom Gazzola. We're in off-season mode. The Oilers season came to a close on Monday. We're now already into off-season mode. This is the draft. It is free agency coming up today and on Monday, so lots to get to on that show. We will have a qualifying opportunity for the $100,000 hole-in-one contest presented by Golf Town. It's your third last qualifying opportunity for today's draw, or I guess not today's draw, this weekend's draw, which will take place on Tuesday. That'll be the 25th contestant for the hole-in-one contest presented by Golf Town. They'll take place Wednesday at the Ranch Golf and Country Club. 25 people, all with the potential chance to swing for the $100,000. If someone holes out, the contest is over. But if nobody holes out, if all 25 contestants go up and no one sinks the shot, which you really hope someone does do, but if no one does, the Ranch is going to give away $1,000 to the closest to the pin. Right now, I want to qualify someone for the Great Outdoors Comedy Festival, which is taking place July 12th through to the 14th at Kingsman Park. We'll have a VIP table for 4 for the Sunday show with Bert Kreischer, Whitney Cummings, and that's Alley Cat, the official beer sponsor the official beer of the Great Outdoors Comedy Festival here in Edmonton, featuring the 6 o'clocker lager. We're getting closer to that. Where do we want to go with that one? Just text us, Alley Cat, to 780-218-9999, and you'll go into a draw, as we're going to give that away next Friday right here on Edmonton Sports Talk. So we got a wild time coming up here on EST. Next week, Monday, myself, Zach to come. We'll be in studio at 10 o'clock for free agency. We'll talk to Dusty. We'll talk to Tom. We'll talk to Gage. We'll talk to a bunch of people, getting you informed on what's going on. We'll be on for just a little bit of the time on Monday. Tuesday, Dusty's back. Wednesday, we've got the hole-in-one contest. Friday, we're giving away that VIP table. And the week after, we've got the EST Classic on the Tuesday. Reminder for July 9th. We'll be on the air for the morning show, which will end at 8 o'clock. It'll end early, and then there'll be no other content on EST that day, because everyone except me is golfing. And I'll be running that golf tournament, though, which should be a lot of fun. I've put it together. I think there's a lot that people will walk away with enjoying themselves. I hope so. Fingers crossed. I have 4 spots open. I'll fill them with singles. I'll fill them with doubles. If you just want a foursome, you could take a foursome still. If you want more details and get in on the event on July 9th, email me, Matt at EdmontonSportsTalk.com. We're down to just the last few people. Had a spot. I was holding on to a spot just in case things needed to later on. That is now here. So if you want to golf July 9th with us at the EST Classic, our first annual EST Classic, be sure to get in touch with me, Matt at EdmontonSportsTalk.com. Before we wrap up here, I know the boys did look at Copa America. Did you want to say something, Zach? Are you up to the mic for a reason?
Well, just in case. I don't know.
I didn't know if you had something you wanted to jump in on.
No.
Canada, Chile, big match tomorrow, 6 o'clock. Argentina wins or draws. All Canada needs to do is draw, and they're moving on to the knockout stage. If Peru wins, Canada needs a win against Chile. Chile is the favorite going into this one, which I find a little interesting. Through the first 2 match days, I like Canada better than Chile, and I think if Canada shows up, especially like they did against Argentina, they're going to win this match. Canada plus 285. What I do like, look, if you're looking at a future when it comes to Copa America, you could bet right now on Canada losing in the semifinal at plus 350. I like that, actually. I think if Canada gets through, which means for them to get through, they either beat Chile or they drew Chile. They would have beaten Peru. They'll take on Venezuela, most likely. I think Canada's going to have a lot of confidence. Played well against Argentina, drew France in that friendly prior to Copa America. They're going to be feeling really good, and I think they could maybe go out there and beat Venezuela, which means they'd be then in the semifinals, or they'd take Argentina, where I would think they're likely to lose. That plus 350 for Canada losing the semifinals, I'd take that all day. The one thing I will also throw out there, which I find fascinating about Copa America, Canada's on the verge of potentially qualifying. It's not done. There's work to be done tomorrow. But the Americans lost to Panama yesterday, and Panama or the U.S., they're looking like they might not even get through the group stage, which is just fascinating to me that the Americans are going to be in this whole panic mode potentially, and Canada might be just moving on to the knockout stage with an American coach as our manager. And what makes that even better is that so many American fans wanted that guy to be their manager, but we got him, and we might be advancing. 6 o'clock tomorrow. It's a big match. Canada to win that match. It is plus 285 just for the draw, plus 210. I like both of those values right there. That will do it for the Lock Shop today here on Edmonton Sports Talk. Coming up next, myself, Tom Gazzola. It is the Oil Stream right here in Edmonton Sports Talk. Your clear choice for Edmonton sports. That's starting in just a few minutes. Don't go anywhere.